Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Media Watch. This is the home edition, and we've got some fantastic guests with us as per normal. This time we have Ratan, we have Baljeet. We've also got Baljeet's daughter as well. I'll let her introduce herself. And we're going to be talking about charity, challenges, trying to stay fit during the period of lockdown. And it's all for a good cause. We'll also be talking about the bike ride, which has been going on since 1989. And they've raised something like £500,000 for children's charities up and down the country. And there is a connection between all three guests. So I shall introduce Ratan first of all. Ratan, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
How are you?
Yes, my name's Ratan. I'm fine, thank you. I came across the ride back in 2010. I was inspired by people like yourself, Savi, people like Balla, who've been doing it for many years. I really admired the fact that it was all voluntary, pure seva, absolutely fantastic. 2010, I loved it, and I've been doing it ever since. I loved it so much that I'm now the representative for the Midlands and the North for SACA.
Brilliant. And there's a connection to Queen Elizabeth Hospital there as well. Charlotte Hospital, lots of money has been raised for a home as well, where people who suffer, children who suffer from cancer, their parents can stay in that house and be close to their children during times of treatment. So there are lots and lots of stuff that SACA has done as an organisation. I'll stop it there for a second. Let me also introduce you to Baljeet. Baljeet, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. My name's Baljeet Singh.
I don't want to miss out on your daughter, actually, because I couldn't remember her name. At least let's be honest. Sorry.
You know what? I don't have any problems after. So yeah, I just done the introduction myself. So we've Savi been involved. When I say we, I mean I was the first one to do the bike ride, and as soon as I got involved, my daughter here, Champri, they were involved from day one because I insisted that they come to the Gurdwara and help out. And the whole family actually, it's a family event now. Actually, the registration has become a family event because I think there's only 2 years where we didn't get involved because just Rita had taken over. And then, but even then we were involved because we would turn up and help out. But I was going to say, since 2004, I did the bike ride. And Savi, I saw you guys ride past at my mother-in-law's house, which was Lady Margaret Road. In 1988, you went down Lady Margaret Road. And there was only about 15 to 20 of you, if that.
There was.
Right? I saw you guys. You guys rode past, not realising I'm going to be heavily involved in 2004.
Amazing. So your daughter now is involved in the bike ride, but she's also involved in one other thing that you do 3 times a week, is it? For about half an hour. You're on Facebook.
What a virtual fitness, yeah. I'll let Janpreet explain.
Yeah, so we have to film that and get the music correct as well, and then the volume and everything. So there's 3 of us, so me and Dilpreet and Manri, and we all take part and do certain things. So one person will quickly give the ball to dad, and the other person will sort the music out, and then the other person's filming, and we take it in turns, so it's really nice.
So tell us a little bit, what exactly are you doing? Are you doing a live Facebook where you're actually doing exercises? And is that how it works?
Well, what it is the weights that are behind me and the backdrop, that's a permanent setting in our front room, believe it or not. And we've transformed our room into like a little corner of a mini gym, right? So the weights that I'm using, believe it or not, I've got it here at the bar. I've had this since the age of 12. Now, Janpreet here said, Dad, that's really old, it's really looking bad. Let me go and spray it up. So she sprayed this up like gold. I've had this from the age of 12, right? I'm 50-something years old. I ain't going to tell you the exact age. And the weights, which were rusted, look at this. Look at the brilliant job she's done on that.
I thought you resprayed them. She didn't respray.
Well, She sprayed. She started it. She started it, and I finished it.
I showed Dad, and then Dad was like, "Right, we have to do all of them now."
You know what we dads are like? We don't let anyone touch our weights. So you know, you get a bit particular. You find a fault, and you go, right, that's my excuse now. So I'm in with the spray. But no, it's all thanks to Jumpy. Actually, she transformed the look of the weights. It's been really
I think what
good.
you've done is you've actually started a new rage, because there are other people that respond on your comms that you do on Facebook in terms of pictures and stuff, and they're starting to spray their own weights and share with you the job that they've done to recondition their weights.
That's right, yeah. In fact, I've had friends ring me up and say, "Babs, what type of spray is that?" Because, you know what I mean, is that Hammerite? I said, no, it's not a Hammerite. It's a spray that my daughter actually discovered. And so I've actually made a TikTok video. I mean, everyone's on TikTok. The whole world is on TikTok. You think about it, that one app has transformed, actually, you might as well call it the COVID-19 top app. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. But I think that's a fantastic app, because you make your videos and you promote good things. Look at the NHS, especially this virtual bike ride that we're doing. We're promoting everything through TikTok, Facebook, and any other media that's available to us.
That's
Fantastic.
right.
Well, let me hold that thought for a second. Let me bring Ratan in, right? Ratan, tell us. Now, one of the ideas, I mean, I think it was an idea that I touted around saying, well, now that the bike ride can't happen physically this year, because it's been going on for 35 plus years, and because of the COVID-19 lockdown situation, I just spouted out an idea saying, why don't we actually do a virtual challenge? I know you've joined us on a virtual cycle ride, which is actually a Zoom session where all of us were together cycling. What's your view of Bao to tell me about his view? What's your view on this virtual thing? Do you think it's gonna help? I mean, it's for a good cause, right?
Everything we've done every year has helped in every single way. These 3 challenges that have been put to the community, families, anybody can join in, you know. The first challenge is you can basically do anything you want. Sit-ups, press-ups, jumps, star jumps, weights, whatever you want. Nominate 5 to 10 people. Absolutely fantastic. The second one, 50 to 100 miles, is the challenge, Heroes Challenge. 50 to 100 miles, cycle, walk, run. It's entirely up to you. And again, nominate. The third one, which all us SACA members have unfortunately been nominated for, is the 100 or 200 miles, which is the Ultra Challenge. Again, another fantastic, really going to be testing. And at the end of it, you can basically donate as much as you want. And again, nominate. I think it's an absolutely fantastic way of, it's looking at the well-being of not only our riders, but also the people that we promoted to, getting us out of the house rather than being in this lockdown situation. Obviously, we've got to follow government guidelines, you know, a good hour and a half cycling, you know, I'm not talking about a top class cyclist, but, you know, the average Joe Bloggs will be able to do about 20 miles.
Yeah, it's 20 miles.
If you do that for 10 days. Yeah, 20 miles every day. Absolutely fantastic. And, you know, we will raise money for a great cause. We're working with, as you know, Queen Elizabeth.
Let's talk about that cause. So I think there's been a shortage of PPE equipment, that's a protective equipment. But there's also another sector of society, which are the people that are most vulnerable, those who are unable to, you know, get food. You know, the previous week we had the wonderful people at Shepherd's Bush Gurdwara that are doing loads of stuff in terms of feeding homeless shelters. They're also packing information, lots of food for food banks, and they're also raising lots and lots of funds to also make food as well, and actually take that food into hospital. So there's so many ways that can help. But the fund, I think, ultimately will help the NHS. And I do think the point that you made is quite good about, you know, the kind of the well-being, that the knock-on impact is not only the fact that you're raising money for something good, but you're also getting fit yourself, because when you're at home, you can end up getting a bit lazy or eating too much or whatever. Let's take it back to Bao and his daughter Amarpreet.
Tell me.
I'll get it right eventually. So you know, we were talking about TikTok before. Social media is a big thing right now, and bigger than ever in terms of the video. There are other people online that do stuff. You have people from all different ages that are actually connecting online with you. What's one of the biggest challenges for you? They give you feedback, but sometimes it's quite difficult, isn't it, to actually get, unless you're doing a Zoom session. And we did do one recently where you could actually physically see them and giving them advice. So, you know, you were doing the exercise and you could actually see the other person doing the exercise as well, couldn't you?
That's right. I mean, come on, Savi, we actually did better than I thought we would do, because you were just holding a phone. And on the laptop, the screen was so small, it was hard to see you. And at the same time, I'm doing exercise in this room, looking at the laptop, actually talking to the Facebook audience as well, getting them trying to get them to interact with us, what we're both doing. And you're trying to mimic what I'm doing, you know, and then Jumpy had the job of actually turning the camera around, you know, doing the sound. Actually, if I remember right, it was Dilpreet who was doing the camera, Jumpy was doing the sound, and in between, we had to coordinate between 3 media sessions.
And she does a fantastic job.
That's a big job. That's a big job.
Yeah.
You know, people don't realise.
Yeah.
Go on.
No, I was going to say the same point as you. People don't realise the amount of effort, because I guess you have to plan it, right? You have to think about the exercises you're going to do, make sure you've got the weights nearby, and then the filming is something else as well. And technically, it's a bit difficult sometimes to even get it online, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I have to have the weights ready behind me. Because what we did was a very clever thing, Sammy. I mean, you think about it, we walked up on the bike, we jumped onto the weights, we jumped back onto the bike, we then coordinated floor exercises, and at the end of it, we did an almighty drop set of over 100 reps. I mean, we did that in the space of 30 minutes. And the calorie count, I can't remember now, but it was way over 250, almost 300 calories.
It's about 250, yeah.
Yeah, we burnt 300 calories in 30 minutes. Now, that's good going. That is really good going. If somebody can do that 3 times a week, we've achieved our goal. And with the virtual bike ride as well, not only are we encouraging, health and well-being, we're actually encouraging people to do something inside their house, let alone outside their house. And we're showing them how to set up the equipment, the bike and the bike stand, like yourself. And Ratan had a really fancy one from what I can remember. You know what I mean? I haven't got access to a fancy bike equipment that he's got, the singing, dancing, all. I've just got the Joe Blogs 300-pound job. And Savvy, you probably got the 600-pound job. And then you got Ratan with a 1,000-pound equipment. And then the weights that we're using, what are they? 50 pounds in 1973 or 74.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fantastic.
I think one of the things that you did well, actually, in the early ones, was even if people can't afford expensive weights, you can, I think you pointed it out before, you can get water bottles, you can get, large containers, which will have the same amount of weight. Obviously, you've got to make sure you're safe. I guess one of the biggest problems also is the disclaimer, to say at the beginning, you must make sure you recognize the risks of doing this, your health issues. You must consult a physician.
If you've got a heart problem, right, and you're jumping up and down, I mean, it's common sense, isn't it, that you're not going to be doing that. So, with all these YouTubes, you always see a disclaimer. You always see it. And then the first video I done, I actually show people how to use a latte, right? When you're just doing a basic squat, look, it's right behind me as we talk. Look, there we go. As quick as that. Look, just doing a squat. Hold it here and use some basic techniques. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't need an expensive piece of equipment.
It doesn't have to be, it could be a broom handle, could be a chair. Look, there's a chair here. There's a chair here, Sammy. Look, live. There we go. How about a few of them?
Absolutely. Yeah, so you got to stay active, absolutely. So Ratan, let's get back to you for a second. Now, You know,
Yep.
in the past, you were mentioning the bike ride before, and some of the beneficiaries. So I mentioned the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. There have been other beneficiaries as well, haven't they, for this the charity work that the bike ride people have done?
Yeah, there's been some fantastic. I mean, we've done Well Child, I think 2 or 3 times. Rainbow Trust. I think we did Queen Elizabeth 2 times. Birmingham Children's Hospital was another fantastic one. The Home from Home. I think that was again for the QE. We've done some fantastic things, absolutely unbelievable. And it's all down to the riders. It seems to become a family affair now. That it's always a lot of the times it's the same riders that come in year in year out, and I have to salute to their dedication. And there's a lot of work in the background as well by certainly yourself, Savi, Baljeed, Army, Allah. I can name quite a few people. Big Dave. Absolutely fantastic. I've got a team up here in the Midlands. Who back
Bobby,
me back. Saab, Danny, Nick, Jag, Cinders. These people just, really give me the energy to carry on every year, and I've been doing it every year.
and nobody takes a salary, and it's all done as voluntary service. When the ride finishes, the ride for the planning for the following year starts, doesn't it? So you must have been very disappointed when this year all the planning had to be cancelled, or all the work effectively as a build up to the ride. It's not wasted, but you look forward to it, don't you? And then ends up not happening due to the virus situation.
That's correct. Yeah, you do look forward to it, but I think we've gone to another level now with the virtual challenges. I think that's going to excel beyond our expectations.
That was actually going to be my final question, actually, to both of you as we get to the end of the program. Do you think that this will sustain itself in the moving forward? Would you be doing a physical ride and do a actual virtual ride every year? Is that something that's appealing?
I think it is very appealing. I think it's very appealing. The two things run side by side. You've got 3 challenges. You've got the actual ride, and you've got the virtual challenge. And the virtual challenges can be done in your own time.
So people don't have to cycle on the road. They could be doing it in their house. So I'm going to say thanks, Ratan, for joining us. Appreciate it very much. And Bal, just wanted to ask you one more question. It's the same question actually as I just asked Ratan towards the end. But the initial question I wanted to ask you was that, fitness is one thing in terms of the exercises and all the other things that you do, but nutrition is also important as well in terms of understanding, diet and, we're not in a situation like Roger Federer who plays tennis, and they have like teams of people that advise them on the kind of food that they should eat. So after they've done a 9-hour tennis match, they've got another 9 hours the next day, but they eat the right foods and they get a massage. I mean, what's your view? So the first question is more about nutrition. Do you think this would expand to nutrition? And the second question was more about, do you want to do it again next year as a virtual ride? Do you think and carry on your programs?
Well, the thing is the thing. Let's go back to the nutrition thing, right? I'm probably one of the worst people when it comes to nutrition because I like my aloo wali gobi, aloo wali gobi, pronte. Pronte is one of the biggest things that I will eat before a ride. Now, some people will disagree and say, "Oh my God, should it be eating porridge? Shouldn't it be eating a muesli type food, which is probably perfect, right?" Those people that eat, I don't know. When it comes to nutrition, there are certain things because a lot of Sikhs are vegetarian. So what some people may have for breakfast may be good for them, right, as vegetarians, but it may be no good for the people that eat meat because your body requires a certain food that is used to. The last thing you want to do is hit your body with nutrition that it's not used to. Can you imagine you suddenly eat something that you haven't eaten before and you go on a 20-mile bike ride or a 10-mile bike ride? Suddenly your body reacts. It hasn't been subject to this type of nutrition. So you need to weed yourself onto good nutrition, right? So you get the right proteins, you get the right carbs. It's the balance of the protein and the carb. Because remember, the protein is the repair, the carb is the fuel. So if you've got to understand that you're about to burn some fuel, you need to put carbs in yourself. And then afterwards, when you come back, you want to repair that muscle that is really fatigued. So now you need protein. So you need to get the balance right. And during the ride, you need something that is going to give you a slow release of energy. Bananas is number one, fantastic. I mean, look at Harmy, Dave, the support team during the bike ride. This is outside, not a virtual ride. This is outside when we're riding. They do an absolute fantastic job in making sure that we get the nice nutrition that we require for the bike ride. We get bananas, we get oranges, we get we also get ice, those isotonic drinks. We also get the tablets as well to give us good hydration, replace the body salts. That is what you need. That is what you actually need for the ride. Even if you're going for a 10-mile walk.
So what we should say is,
Right?
so basically moving forward, I would say, because we're getting to the end, so your answer is nutrition is important. But what I was going to say to you was that maybe in the future, you could expand your programs that you do online to include an element of nutrition. Yeah.
My programs started back in
Your
India.
program that you do three times a week online.
Three times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. 5:30 we start, and you get yourself dumbbells, you get yourself a bar. If you've got the weights on it already, keep it nice and light, guys, because Mr. Savvy's already said it. Do not overexert, and we don't want anyone getting hurt. Well, you know, the health and safety is paramount. And all the exercises that we do is very simple. But we stick to the basics, increase the reps. If you can't do the reps, reduce the reps. It's easy as that. Keep the weight light.
My final question, which I want to end on this with you, is to say, are you going to do a virtual ride and run these things next year as well? So that not only would there be physical rides, better well-being, and those who can't do massive distances like 130 miles from Birmingham to London, they can do virtual rides. Is that you're going to encourage?
I would say definitely I'm going to carry on with the virtual ride. If there's one thing this COVID-19 has done, has actually taught us how to use the resources that we already have in the house.
That's correct. Correct. 100%.
Right? And it's inspired my daughter here, Jumpy, who isn't doing the virtual ride. She's actually getting herself in the park. And today she's done how many?
I done 16 miles today. Yesterday I done another 16, and the day before I started I done 11.
Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah, I don't
definitely good to encourage friends and family. So we're going to leave it at that. I want to just say thanks so much to my guests this time round. It was so great that you spent time. You're probably going to now hop on a bike, do things within the social distance standards, or get on your exercise bike at home. And I strongly encourage you to check out, I think it's called challengeforheroes.com, which is a very nicely built website which talks about the challenges that you can do to help raise money for the NHS. And Media Watch is always there to bring brilliant ideas from people out there who are truly inspiring, like Rudhan and Baljeet and Baljeet's daughter, and Dilpreet as well, his other daughter. So I wish you all the best, and I'll see you next time. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.